All right, guys, how's it going? We're gonna do a quick 1 month update on my 2023 Camaro Super Sport. I'm gonna do a quick review. I'll drive the car, kind of explain some things that I really like about it. There's not really much I don't like about it, so it's a pretty awesome car. But we'll see here, it's got 900 miles on it. About to do its first oil change here, but I figured I would take it for a spin and get some videos on it. But do a basic review here. Some things I don't like about it: the brake pads. It's a pretty picky thing, but they're very dusty. I drive the car for about 20 miles and it's already, wheels are all dusted up. It's kind of irritating, and they do squeal a lot too, which is annoying. That's really all the things I don't like about it, though. The rest of the car is absolutely phenomenal. So a quick walk around here. No real fancy options on this car, just dual mode exhaust, mag ride, red calipers, and illuminated sill plates. Other than that, it's just the standard SS. Let me take a peek inside here. You can see cloth seats, manual transmission, no fancy stereo, no heads-up display, none of that stuff. But yeah, very nice. I'm about 6'1" and a hefty weight, and I fit in it great. I'm super comfortable in it. These seats are great. I've sat in one with the Recaros and I really did not like the Recaros, so if you're a bigger guy, definitely opt for the standard seats. But yeah, I mean, I love the thing. So let's go hop in it, take it for a drive, and I'll kind of explain some things, what it's like to drive it. Start her up here. But yeah, car drives phenomenally. So we'll just get moving here, and I'll feed you impressions as I get them. Had the car for about a month, so I mean, I can't really speak from a ton of experience here. I only driven it almost 1,000 miles, so it's not like I've had it for 3 years or something. But yeah, we'll just go over some things I really like about it. I will say, car feels very natural to drive. Coming from my third and fourth gens, I was worried that this car was going to feel weird, because when I got the 2010 Camaro, that car felt super weird to me. That was a V6, but the throttle calibration felt really odd. The clutch felt weird, transmission felt weird. All around, just an odd experience. But this car, I hopped in this one and it just immediately felt natural. The LT1, it's plenty of power, sounds beautiful, a lot of torque. So I love the engine. Transmission feels great. It's like a T56, but like better in every way. It's the best way I can describe it. The ratios are very familiar because they're very similar to my Trans Am, but it just shifts so much smoother. Shifter feels great. Throws are great, very smooth but tight. It's kind of how I would describe it. Don't take that out of context. But throttle's great. I'm usually not a fan of drive-by-wire throttles, but this one's calibrated wonderfully, so I'm really a fan of this one. Brake pedal feels great. They're a little sensitive compared to what I'm used to, but they work really well. Clutch pedal's great. Travel is a little long, but most stock clutches are. It's just kind of how they go. Not bad by any means. So as you can see there, active rev matching. Wasn't sure if I was gonna like that. I've never had a car with that before, but man, now that I have it, I love it. It's an absolutely fantastic feature. This car has adjustable suspension. 99% of the time, what the heck's going on here? 99% of the time, I just leave it in tour mode because Michigan roads are terrible. But I usually leave the exhaust in track mode. Like right now, the exhaust is in track mode. When you put the car in track mode, the shocks get way tighter, the steering gets way heavier. So it's really cool. It's just for how I use the car on the street, 99% of the time, it's just not necessary. But even in tour mode, I mean, the car is extraordinarily capable. but it also rides nice. But yeah, I mean, the interior of the car, it's everything you need and nothing you don't. It's not a luxury vehicle. There's a lot of hard plastic, a lot of road noise as well. I think that's part of why they why the Camaros are lighter than the other the Mustangs and the Challengers. It's primarily because I just don't think there's a whole lot of sound deadening in it. It is kind of loud in here with road noise, tire noise. I think a lot of it is just the stock Goodyear run flats. Yeah, the downshifts. Oh yeah, you can't beat that. That is just awesome. But yeah, I mean, I've driven the car, commuted it to work, took it on a little trip up north. Like I said, about 1,000 miles now, and it's just been phenomenal. Absolutely love it. Only a few gripes with the brake pads are squealing a little bit, being a little dusty. But I hear a lot of people complaining about the visibility. Doesn't bother me at all, really. I think it's actually better than the 5th gen, and the 5th gen didn't bother me at all either. I fit in the car great. I was kind of worried about that because people were saying that the 6th gens got smaller, and that they did a little bit, because I fit in the 5th gen really well. So when people were saying that the 6th gens are small, they're uncomfortable, I was like, uh-oh, because I'm a bigger dude. But I fit in here great, super comfortable. I can ride in here all day long, no problem. There's a lot of cheap plastics in the interior, but it's all the pieces that you actually touch and interact with on a regular basis are all very, very good. The shifter's fantastic, the armrests are great, the steering wheel's awesome. I love the steering wheel. The digital gauge cluster's really good. Just all the inputs, everything that you touch is really, really nice. So I think if they're gonna cheap out on anything, cheap out on something that I don't have to touch, right? Like the dashboard. I don't really touch the dashboard. I think if you do touch your dashboard often, it's kind of weird. So I don't really care that it's like hard plastic because I don't use it. It's just there. But the steering wheel, it's like, oh yeah, this is really nice, but you use the steering wheel constantly, so I'm glad that it's nice. Same thing with the shifter. So I think they've very thoughtfully made this interior, cheaped out in the areas that don't matter, and they've really put a lot of effort into the areas that do matter. The seats are phenomenal. These are just standard, the base model seats, just the normal cloth ones. I did sit in a car with Recaro seats. I didn't like them at all. They were very, very stiff, very small. I'm not a fan of them at all. So when I ordered this car in January, I got these seats, and I'm really glad that I did, because they're very comfortable. But going down this back road here, the car's handling, it handles better than any car I've ever had, by a long shot. A big problem that I had with the 5th gen is that the car felt very, very planted, but the rear of the car felt very numb. And I think it's because I'm used to driving live axle cars, where the rear axle doesn't do what you want it to do, but you know what it's doing. Whereas the 5th gen, it's a very compliant ride with the independent suspension in the back, but it just felt numb to me. In this car, they've completely fixed that, whatever they've changed. And it's compliant, it's comfortable, it stays nice over bumps. It's not like my 4th gens would really, you could really get into some trouble if you hit some bumps mid-corner. This car hits a bump, it's like, yeah, whatever, no problem, don't worry about it. And but it still communicates what the rear of the car is doing. Now the track width on the 6th gen is narrower than the 5th gen, and you do feel that a little bit when you drive the 5th gen around. You take it into a corner, and the thing just kind of feels like ultra stable because of how wide those cars are. This one's a few inches narrower, and the overall length of the car is a few inches less as well. But this car still just feels unbelievably planted. I do like that this car is a little lighter than a 5th gen. It's a little more agile, feels just a little better in every way. I like this interior a lot as well. Everything that you use is great. The screen is nice, but I like that you still have buttons for the volume, buttons for the skip features. You have buttons for all your HVAC controls. So I really like that you have those options. so you don't have to use the screen for everything. And there's just not much in this interior. Everything is very easy to use, very easy to get used to, and there's not a whole lot going on in here, which I like, because I bounce back and forth between a lot of cars pretty often, and if there's like a really steep learning curve, it takes me a long time to get used to stuff. But this car, it's very, very natural. There's just not a whole lot to it, which I really liked. But yeah, the rev matching's gorgeous. Exhaust is fantastic. For a stock muffler, I mean, good lord, this is awesome. You just can't beat it. But for an everyday driver, it's actually quite good. Let's see here. We have a lot of power. I'll goose it a little bit here. Yeah, baby. A lot of torque, just power everywhere. Sounds gorgeous. Does crazy pops out the back. Handles beautifully. It's predictable. When I first got this car from the dealer, it had 2 miles on it. And as I'm driving off the dealer lot, I drove it for about 10 minutes. And after about 10 minutes, I had decided that it was the greatest car I had ever driven in my life. In terms of just inputs, right? I'll usually drive a vehicle and I can make a laundry list of things that I don't like and things that I would change and things that they could have done better. And it's like I drive this car and it's like, what could be better? The steering, phenomenal. Brakes, phenomenal. Transmission, phenomenal. Engine, great. Calibration, beautiful. The sound, great. I fit in it wonderfully. The ride quality's pretty dang good for what it is. It's like, what could be better? It's like, man, this thing is just absolutely glorious. And it makes me really sad that they're discontinuing this car, because they got it so perfect. For the price point, it's like, you can't expect anything better. And now they're discontinuing it. It's like, dude, you got to be kidding me. Like, this thing is just so good, and now they discontinue it. Like, come on. Everybody that I've talked to agrees that, like, man, these things just drive so good. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like how they look. Looks are subjective, I get it. A lot of people like how Challengers look, and I don't. So, I mean, it's looks, right? Everybody has different opinions. I think this car looks absolutely awesome. I love the way this car looks. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I mean, it's as close to a perfect vehicle as I've ever felt. Every aspect of driving it is just wonderful. Sure, there's like the little practical things that are kind of dumb, right? Like the trunk opening's really small, so you really can't. The trunk itself is actually pretty sizable, but you can't really fit anything in there because the hole's really small. I don't like that the battery is stored off to the right in the trunk. It makes it so when the battery dies, it's really tricky to get to. Because there's no keyhole in the trunk. So if the battery dies, my buddy has a 6th-gen Camaro and we ran into this problem. His battery died and we had to actually climb in through the back seat, pull the emergency release, and then replace the battery in the trunk. And it's just unnecessarily complicated. But as for the interior, I mean, there's really not anything about it I don't like. I mean, sure, some of the materials are cheap, but it's like, I mean, it's a Camaro. it's not a Cadillac. It's not a Lincoln. It's not a Mercedes. So I don't really care that some of the interior materials are cheap. It doesn't bother me at all. God, the sound is good. Yeah, we got a ZL1 over there. Very nice. But yeah, I mean, I love these cars. Absolutely awesome machine. But given the opportunity, I would 100% buy it again. I don't think there's a better car on the market for less than 50 grand. I would argue that there's not a better car on the market for less than $100,000. It's my opinion. You might have different opinions. That's okay. But I don't, if you gave me $100,000 and said, Josh, you have to buy one car, it would be a Camaro. No question. I think the Corvettes are cool. I think this is cooler. I think this looks better. I like the front engine rear wheel drive combination. I like the manual. I like the way this looks. It's just, it doesn't get any better. It does not get any better. I think the Mustangs are okay, but why get a Mustang when you can have this? That's just how I think. The Challengers never did anything for me. I always thought they were just kind of eh. A lot of the Japanese cars, some of them are kind of cool, but in my opinion, they're too expensive for what you get. Like the new GR86, cool little car, but for 30 grand, it's like just pay a little bit more and get something like this with a V8 and 455 horsepower. So, I mean, this thing is it's just awesome. I love this car. Absolutely love it. It doesn't get any better than this, guys. If you're on the fence about buying one of these, do it. Do yourself a favor and do it. Because pretty soon you're not going to be able to find a car like this. They're all going to be stupid electric cars or hybrids, or they're all going to be automatics or whatever. If you have the means, do it. Do it now. I'm really glad that I did. I have no regrets. It's an absolutely crazy machine. And you can have a machine that does the things that this car does, and yet you can still drive it to work every day. I drive the car to work all the time. It's great. If you get stuck in traffic, it's not a big deal. It's still comfortable. Air conditioning's great. Stereo's nice. The infotainment system works great. I run the car with Android Auto a lot. This works awesome. It's wireless. I just hop in the car and it connects my phone to it automatically. Boom! I got the maps that I want to use. I got the Spotify, and it's like, man, you just can't beat this stuff. It's just so good. And this thing has a lot of features that I haven't used yet. It has launch control, which I haven't used yet because the car's in break-in right now. It has no lift shift, which I haven't used yet, again, because the car's in break-in. It has some like lap timers and stuff, and 0 to 60 timers, and I haven't used any of that yet. I haven't played with the like traction control settings or anything like that too much, just because I've been driving it really easy. I haven't really revved the thing north of 5 grand yet. So now that we're coming up on 1,000 miles, you know, I'm going to start to exercise the car a little more, really see what it can do. But so far, I've been very, very impressed. Power everywhere, sound is gorgeous. All the inputs are just so good. Whenever I hear somebody like talk crap on these cars, it's like, dude, drive one, drive it, and tell me. Then you can tell me it's crap, because then at least you gave it a chance. But it's like, oh, the visibility's bad. Like, are you just saying that because everybody else says it, or are you saying that because you actually can't see out of it? I'm sitting in this car right now, and I can see everything that I need to see, no problem. Just a phenomenal car. Hats off to GM. Probably the best and last good muscle car they will ever build. Their current leadership is pretty awful. I don't think they're on the right track at all. Corvettes are cool, but they've just priced them out of the everyday man's budget. So this is probably the last sports car to come out of GM that'll be worth buying, in my opinion. Which is a shame. But I mean, they went out with a bang, because this thing is just awesome. Just absolutely fantastic car. But that'll about wrap it up for this video. Wasn't really much of a review, I guess. It's just kind of kind of a video I wanted to make, saying, hey, I've had the thing for a month and it's awesome. I love it. Absolutely incredible car. Like I said, if you're on the fence about getting one, do it. Even if you get a used one or whatever, you know, try to find a nice used one, whatever. Just go do it, because you will not regret it. It's an incredible, incredible car. But with that, I'm gonna sign off and see you guys in the next one. I'll be making some more videos with this thing in the future, so I'll see you guys around.